Hello again and welcome back. How did you do on the last challenge, right? Let's try and go over it together, right? So the goal here was to include the quantity and then show the total price. Okay, so we need to take the quantity times the price, and then our price has a problem because we have to shave the dollar sign off of the number because it's actually a string, right? And it has that dollar sign in the string. So let's go to our shopping cart item. So everything's going to happen here, okay? And just to make things easy, we first need to deconstruct to get the quantity, okay? So now that we've got the quantity, let's put the quantity in here. I'm going to do this as a span. Also, the reason I'm actually putting the spans in here is because later, if I have a tag on these things, I could style the name and the price and this other thing. They could look different. Like I could apply a different style to them, right? So if they're in a different tag. So let's put the quantity here, right? So if I do that, let's see if our quantity shows up. Oh yeah, there's our number, right? It says 4 and 1 and 1 and 1, right? But maybe we want to say space and then times like this. Right now I can see times 1, right? And then if I was to add another, you can see like Flexity right there. It's like a silly name, right? Flexity, I have 1 in the cart, but if I click on Flexity down here, add to cart, it should add 2. So now I have 2 of these in the cart, right? So now we got to show the total, okay? So let's do that. Let's calculate the total. So let's get the total like this. I'm going to say const total equals, and I'll have to take the price and then do dot slice 1 to get rid of the first character. Okay, now this will still be a string, but JavaScript is kind of forgiving. So if we multiply a string times something else, it'll try to convert this string into a number for us. We could also wrap this in parse float to convert it to a number. Maybe I'll just do it this way just to get started, and let's multiply times our quantity. Okay, and then our total down here is going to be, let's say equals, and we'll put the total right here like this, right? So we've got total is price, but we have to slice to get rid of the dollar sign. If I had done this right, the price would just be a number, right? I think I didn't do it just to make the first assignment easier, right? But anyway, so there we go, right? Let's see. Oh, that's not too bad, right? So 1207 times 14 is 168,98,002. So actually, this is kind of a problem, right? And it's just the way the computer handles numbers. So let's also do a toFixed here. So I'm going to wrap that in parentheses to get the computer to do this math first. And when it's done doing that, let's do dot toFixed. And then, round that off to 2 decimal places. So toFixed will round off to this number of decimal places, but it returns a string too, so keep that in mind. But for us, the string doesn't matter because we're just going to display it as a string. So, oh, there we go, 168.98, 740.84, right? So I think it's kind of working there, okay? So that's really great. Thanks for watching. Maybe we'll do a little bit more here. I think this video still isn't that long. Let's talk about the next challenges, right? So this is working pretty good, but what I want to do is I want to have a button here, right? This is my challenge to you, is add a button that says remove from cart. So you can click on it to delete this item from the cart, okay? Second challenge is to style this, right? And so make the name look different from the price, right? And the total, right? So that's some easy styling there, right? The third challenge is to add like a +1, -1 button. So remove would remove the whole item, like all 14. +1 would change the 14 to a 15, and the -1 would change like 14 to 13 or 4 to 3. You see that oftentimes in shopping carts, they have a little plus or minus, right? So let's try and add that, okay? So that's my challenge to you. Now to do those, you're going to have to go through and do all of the Redux stuff, right? So we would have to make a add to cart. Actually, I guess we can use add to cart again, right? As long as we pass the right index in. But to remove an item from the cart, right, we'll have to pass the index, make a remove from cart action, go into the reducer, handle the remove from cart action, just like we did here, except in that case, we'll do something like this, but we'll subtract 1, right? If it's 0, then we'll remove the whole thing, okay? And then we'll have a third action for clear the cart, right? So if you have a clear cart, we'll pass the ID of the item, and then we'll just remove that from our state over here. We'll just completely, remove it from this array, okay? But you'll have to go through and do that here. So once you add your actions here, let's actually just get started on that, right? So we'll do export const, right? And then we'll do remove from cart, right? So remember, remove from cart is going to be like -1, okay, for us, right? So it's going to be like subtract 1 from cart. And then over here, I'm going to make one, let's call it clear cart. So I'm going to say, let's do clear from cart, right? So this is like remove 1 item from the cart, okay? And then actually let's do this. Let's do remove 1, right, of ID, right? And then this will be remove all of ID, right? And then, let's add a third one, right? So here's a third challenge for you, right? This is going to be clear all items from cart, right? So this is going to be export, let's call it const, and I'm just going to call this one clear cart, okay? So this is remove everything from the cart. So if I just want to delete everything in my cart, I can do this. This is actually the easiest one, okay? And then you'll have to add a function for each one of those and match the type up, okay? These two require an ID, right? And this one won't need an ID because, like if you're clearing everything, it doesn't matter what the ID is, right? So you'll need to do this, and then you'll need to go into the shopping cart and add a case for each one of these. So don't forget, you can import your action name at the top, and then you can create a case like we did here. And then you'll have to write what happens. So again, with Redux, the way that you deal with your application state, it's very organized. Like everybody's in a lane. You know exactly what you're doing. Like these are the only actions that will change application state. And when I go here, this is exactly where the state is changed. Like I don't have to search around through a lot of other code or other files. It's all kind of in one location, right? Or at least this is where all the shopping cart state would be. If I had other state, I could make another reducer for it, okay? So I'll leave these problems for you to tackle, and then we'll kind of go over them together in the next video. And again, as always, thanks for watching, and have a great day or evening or whatever time it is where you're at, okay?